Hey, what's up, dudes? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. So with Chapter 22 literally right around the corner, with the PTB being on the 9th and the teaser coming around the 5th, it's really time to start talking about the legitimate Chapter 22 killer possibilities. Of course, whatever killer it is, that seems to be what the theme of the chapter is. And I have a few killers in mind, even with a theory, a good theory from one of my good friends that we'll be going over in this video. Before we get into it though, you know the drill. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video by the end of the video, and if you want more Dead by Daylight content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me, and thank you all so much for doing so. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So let's start out with the one that we've went over hundreds of times already, and that is the vampire. We've been theorizing about the vampire since back before Chapter 21, and that was because in Tome 8 Deliverance, we got this big cutscene in the archives focused around the Observer going to Dracula's castle, basically. It literally looks like this archive cutscene was directly inspired from Vlad the Impaler, which is who inspired Dracula, so of course it makes sense. But I have heard a lot of good theories and good points around the Dead by Daylight community that would ruin the surprise of Chapter 22's killer if they just revealed this vampire character in the archives, and then just a few months later, just a few chapters later, added them as a killer. That does feel a little bit too obvious, and even going back to the Blight, Talbot Grimes, when he was revealed, so to speak, in the archives, it was over a year, if not a year on the dot, before he was actually added into the game. So that kind of goes for the bipedal spider character that we've also seen very recently in Tome 9 as well. It kind of ruins the surprise, and I don't see them doing chapters around those killers that quick. But that's not to say that they'll never happen, that's not to say that they'll never be added. The Blight is really the only pre-existing data that we have to go off of on how long in between them revealing the character in the archives to the release of the character there is. So they could change it up, and it could literally just be this amount of time. We don't really know, we have one character to go off of, so please keep that in mind. Now the next character that I think is a very subtle tease, but has been teased, is a werewolf. If you guys remember back to Tome 8, at the end of that rift, Tier 70, you got a Blood Moon charm. Now correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure a few killers or survivors have been teased via charms in the past. And I do think that's a legitimate possibility. A werewolf is a character, a killer, that people have wanted in Dead by Daylight for a very long time. Now would it be very smart doing a werewolf right after VHS gets announced and one of their selling killers is a werewolf? Probably not, but you have to remember Dead by Daylight chapters are in development for a long time before the actual release of them. And we've only known about VHS for about a month and a half, maybe 2 at the most. Days are running by pretty quick now. I'm keeping up as best as I can, but I don't think it would line up with VHS on purpose. It might just be very, very convenient timing. I've heard some people say that's why we wouldn't get a werewolf, but I don't see them canceling a chapter they already had in production just because another asymmetrical game is releasing with a werewolf character. And then the last one actually comes from a friend. His name is Rafi. He has a YouTube channel, and I will link it in the description down below. And I actually do a podcast with him and another friend, Venom Xenomorph. You might have heard of him if you're a part of the FNAF community, and I'll leave his channel, their channels linked down below if you would like to check out the podcast when we are on. But this theory comes from him, and it's actually a very, very good and interesting theory, and it revolves around a Teutonic, I'm terrible with pronunciation, but a Teutonic Knight, that's what I'm going to call it, of Jerusalem. They were from Germany and very historical figures for the country. If you guys did not know, Dead by Daylight just made a German Twitter account. Now, if you guys remember, this actually happened before for the Oni. A Japanese Twitter account was made right before the Oni was revealed and actually put into the game. So this could have some significance, but maybe not. It's wishy-washy when it comes to something like this. They could just be branching out their languages. We'll probably see more accounts from Dead by Daylight in different languages just to have that community there for people who don't just speak English. But I still do think the Knight is a solid theory for the reasons that Rafi said about the For Honor crossover. Now, if you guys remember, we did not get much for that For Honor crossover. We got a helmet, and For Honor got the whole spiel of everything else. Maybe that was because it was an indirect crossover for Dead by Daylight, or maybe a direct crossover in a certain way to where it's not a licensed chapter for Honor, but they crossed over because the chapter in production has something to do with a knight, or something that could be akin to For Honor or referenced to For Honor. A knight is actually a very requested character in Dead by Daylight, alongside another character who I didn't think was very likely, but a lot of people actually want, and that is a pirate. So, do I think a knight will ever come? I think it's a possibility. Do I think it's this chapter? I think it has a a higher possibility than some of the other chapters that could come, but I definitely think this is lower on the spectrum of likelihood. It is super convenient timing with the For Honor crossover though, so I guess we'll just have to see. That is the fun thing about all of this. We have no clue at the moment. We haven't gotten a single tease yet. We don't even know if we're gonna get a tease where it is an original chapter. The only original chapter that they really did a big tease season for was for the Trickster. Most of the time, the tease season is really for the licensed killers, so we might just go all the way to the 5th before we get a teaser trailer, and that's what we get. We get what we get there, and then we get the PTB announcing the killer on the 9th. We don't really know what's going on, but these are the theories that we have. In my opinion, these are some solid theories, but they still could do something way out of left field and just go with something that nobody expected, which they have done before. But I do want you guys to let me know what you think in the comments down below. How are you feeling about this? What killer do you think it could possibly be? I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say. Give me all of your theories and I'll do my best to respond to everybody I can in the comments down below. But that is going to do it for me, Dukes. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my members for supporting the channel. If you would like to support the channel and become a member to get cool rewards and awesome emotes, click that join link in the description down below. But again, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching again. My name is Tootin. I've been your host, and I'll see you dudes in the fog. Peace out.